Welcome my dear students. Today we are going to another topic, that is examination of vitals in a child. Before going to the topic proper, I just want to remind you that we are examining a child. So be polite, be gentle, respect the parents and the child. Okay. So vitals. We all know vitals are the signs of life. We can get various clues by proper examination of the vitals. So there are four important vitals. One is the temperature. Second is the pulse rate, third is the respiratory rate, and fourth is the blood pressure. And fifth vital is SpO2 or saturation, that we can discuss in another class. So we'll go to temperature first. By maintaining a normal body temperature or euthermia, then only your vital organs is able to work properly. That is the importance of temperature. In pediatrics, a normal temperature is 36.6 to 37.2 core temperature. So the rectal temperature reflects the core temperature. Okay, you can examine temperature by using thermometer in the oral cavity. You can use thermometer in the axilla also, but the temperature varies. How it varies? The oral temperature is 0.5 degrees Celsius or 1 degree Fahrenheit less than the rectal temperature. And the axillary temperature is 0.5 degrees Celsius or 1 degree Fahrenheit less than the oral temperature. So whenever you take axillary temperature, add 1 degree Celsius to the axillary temperature in order to get a core temperature. Okay. So which are the instruments you can use for temperature measurement? First, roughly you can use your dorsum of the hand. And you can keep over the forehead or the neck, but that is not at all accurate. You should have a thermometer. So there are three types of thermometer. One is a mercury thermometer, and second is a digital thermometer, and third one is the infrared thermometer, that is common nowadays, that you can keep over the forehead or on the ear. But studies have shown that its accuracy is not that much good. So for exam purpose, you can use mercury thermometer preferably or digital thermometer. So it has values from 35 to 42. There are other mercury thermometers which is called low reading thermometer, which has readings from 30 to 40. Such thermometer we are not using commonly. For specific some conditions we use low reading thermometer, but for the exam purpose or normal clinics you can use this mercury thermometer. Okay, I'll show you how you examine the temperature using the mercury thermometer. What is hypothermia? The core temperature less than 36.6 is called cold stress. Less than 36 is called hypothermia, and more than 37.2 we call it as fever. Okay, this is a mercury thermometer with a reading of from 35 to 42. Okay, so first what you have to do is wash your hands, clean your hands, clean the thermometer, and this silver end we are keeping in the axilla. Okay, before that you have to clean the axilla or armpit of the child with a dry cloth. You have to clean. Then keep the thermometer with this end facing upwards in the axilla, and you can do like this. Okay, this is how you can keep this. The tip should be inside the armpit. Now after 3 minutes you can take it out and read it, keeping over the eye level. Okay, now this is the digital thermometer. What you can do is switch it on, and you can see one low value, LO. Then you can keep it over the axilla as a mercury thermometer, and when you hear the beep sound you can take it out and read the value. So this is how digital thermometer is used.
Now we are going to check the blood pressure. See, this is a big curve which can be used for older children. This is a small curve which can be used for younger infants, usually less than 1 year. But this is a big child, so we can use the big curve. So remember, the should be tied around 2.5 centimeter above the arm and should cover 2/3 of the upper arm. And first you have to check with the palpatory method. Palpate the radial pulse and inflate the cuff. Okay, then while deflating, just find out the point when the pulse is up here. Okay, that's how you find out systolic BP by palpatory method. Now we are going to check by auscultatory method. Inflate the cup rapidly to a level 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury above the level at which the radial pulse cannot be felt. Then the cuff is slowly deflated and the Korokov sounds are auscultated over the brachial artery. And when the first Korokov sounds are heard, the point at which the first sounds are heard is the systolic blood pressure. As the cuff is further deflated, then the Korokov sounds get muffled. That is the diastolic blood pressure. Okay. Now I will show what is flush method. Is used in newborns and infants to measure the systolic blood pressure. The cuff is wrapped around the wrist or above the upper arm. Then the limb is elevated and held for some time. The cuff of the sphygmomanometer is inflated above the expected systolic blood pressure. There will be a blanching of the limb. Okay. After blanching, we are lowering the arm and the cuff is gradually deflated till the limb becomes pink. The point at which the flushing of the limb occurs indicates systolic blood pressure.
Next we are going to examine the pulse. What is pulse? It's a continuous wave generated by the left ventricular systole which is traversed through the arteries to the peripheries. So pulse is examined. We can use the forearm over the radius. You can keep your 3 fingers over the radius, okay, and feel the pulse. And what are the things you are going to explain in pulse examination? That is rate of the pulse rate, the rhythm, the volume, the character, radiofemoral delay, and whether all the peripheral pulses can be palpable or not.
It's preferable to examine different arteries for different features of the pulse. For example, volume and character is best appreciated in carotid arteries. These are the normal values of pulse rate in different ages. See the difference in infancy and adolescence. The respiratory rate should be counted exactly by watching the chest or abdomen movements for 1 minute. The movement should be observed by keeping the baby on the bed in the supine position, and these are the normal respiratory rate in each age group. If you are unable to remember in each age group, you can remember the upper limits at least. These are the methods to find out the normal blood pressure in each age group. Systolic blood pressure is upper limit is 90 plus 2 into age in years. The diastolic blood pressure is 55 plus 2 into age in years. The lower limit of systolic BP is 70 plus 2 into age in years. Below this value, we will call it as hypotension. The hypertension or high BP is like systolic BP or diastolic BP more than 95th centile. Okay, so there are various graphs for each age group for the normal BP values. More than 95th centile, we call it as hypertension. Just remember these 3 formulas in case of blood pressure. Now, pulse pressure. Pulse pressure is the difference between the systolic and diastolic blood pressure. The normal range of pulse pressure is 30 to 60 millimeters of mercury.
This I have already
demonstrated
the different
stenosis
methods
in children and also in mitral stenosis, but mitral stenosis is rare in children. A wide pulse pressure is seen in patients with PDA, patent ductus arteriosus, and also in aortic regurgitation, but PDA is more common in children. Next one is mean arterial pressure or MAP. It is the product of cardiac output and total peripheral resistance. The equation is diastolic pressure plus 1/3 of the pulse pressure. The normal value is 100 millimeters of mercury.
Hope you understand all the vitals.
This is the relation between temperature, respiration and pulse rate.